guys, it's Jessie V. So today's video is super spontaneous. Like, I did not expect to make this video at all. So here's what happened. This morning, I was cleaning up my basement because my basement is absolutely a mess, okay? And many of you know that I film in my basement, and it's not really cool to film in the middle of a mess. There's just stuff everywhere. I feel like an animal. Like, no wonder there's so many spiders. There's so many places for them to hide. This is like spider hideout kingdom. Okay, it's not that bad. There's just like clothes everywhere, some makeup, my artwork, some craft supplies. Okay, it's kind of messy. So I was cleaning out my basement and I came across one of my keepsake boxes, and it's basically filled with tons of stuff from my childhood. And in this box, there were some of my old childhood diaries. So of course, knowing me, I became very curious and I read some of them, and gosh, I was terrible at spelling back then. In my handwriting was so messy. And then I came across this particular diary with Cinderella on top, and it's like super fuzzy. Like, this is like a pillow diary. But I remember this diary being my ultimate favorite because I got it at Disney World. There's beads on it, Cinderella's picture. Cinderella's selfie was on my diary. Like, who wouldn't want that? It's got this little charm on it with a heart. I mean, this diary was like a child's dream. So I always used to be careful what I wrote in here. I only wrote my best stories ever in here. Like the time I went to Disney World, the time I went to Barbados, the time I went to Great Wolf Lodge. Just all of my vacation stories I wrote in here. And some of these would actually make some really good story times. I am so glad that as a kid I wrote in my diaries. That's basically where I get my story time information from. Because you guys are always like, how do you remember all of this stuff? And this is how. Someone in my house is taking a shower. Who is taking a shower while I'm filming? How rude. Okay, well, if you hear water running, one of my parents are taking a shower, okay? Or maybe someone just flushed the toilet. I'm not too sure. So I found a diary entry in here that would make a perfect story time for today. There is so much dust on this. That's the other thing about having a fuzzy diary. Dust just collects all over it. So when you pick it up 10 years later, the dust just explodes off of it. And Cinderella's all dusty too. So it's really weird because I had written like normally through the diary, all was good. Oh, that's sparkly gel pen. That's so cool. Can you see that? I used to love sparkly gel pens. But I wrote all through here. All was cool. All was nice. And then randomly at like the middle of the diary somewhere, where is it? I can't even find it now. At like the back of the diary where I hadn't even written yet, there is this particular diary entry page. And the other thing that I should mention is I always started my diary entries with hello! Exclamation mark. I don't know why. But the title of this entry is The Man with the Flute Dream. And the minute I saw this morning, I remembered everything. Everything came back to me. And I might have mentioned this story last year, I'm not too sure, but this was a huge part of my childhood. Basically, I had this dream every single night for a really long time. It was the same dream every night. It was terrible. It would just not leave my brain. And it was about a man with a flute. And I know that sounds so weird, but I was absolutely terrified of this man. And it's weird because I wrote here, he's always going up the stairs. And you'll understand what that means in a second. And then I checked off every day that I had the dream. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and over again. And then I drew him, or at least tried to draw him. He always had a top hat and he had a tie and a nice suit on. So he was like dressed to the nines every single time in my dream. He was a classy man. And then on the next page it says, he ate my sister, ate my cousin, my parents are gone, I'm hiding in the basement. That is the creepiest thing that a child could write. By the way, I think I was like 9. Was I 9? I feel like I was around 9 years old. So I'm gonna get into this story because you guys are probably so confused as to what I'm talking about right now. So let me go through this dream that I had. Basically, in my dream, I would be sitting in my bedroom. All the lights in the house were off. And for some reason, my parents were not home. They were just not there. They were never in my dream. They were just gone. So I'd be sitting in my bedroom and all of a sudden I would hear the front door open. And because this man was wearing dress shoes, his walk would be very loud on the tile floor. So I would hear him coming in the door, and then I would hear him start to walk up the stairs. But what was weird was he'd always pull out this flute from inside his jacket, and he would start playing the flute as he walked up the stairs. But it was the most eerie tune that you can play on a flute. It was like this sad song he would play, but the song would almost sound suspenseful. So I could hear him from my bedroom getting closer and closer because of the flute. The music would just get louder as he got closer to me. And then he would stand in the doorway of my bedroom and watch me sitting on my bed. And every time it would freak me out. So I'd jump off my bed and run past him down the stairs and onto my first floor. So on my first floor, there was my cousin Luke and my sister Mandy. And they were both freaked out because they both saw this man as well. So Mandy said, I'm gonna run into the washroom and lock the door. So she runs into the washroom. And this man starts coming back down the stairs after us. And he's still playing that weird flute. So then I turn to my cousin Luke and I'm like, okay, we should go into the basement and hide. So we run down the steps. And this man with the flute ends up knocking down the bathroom door that my sister's in, and he eats her. He just like eats her whole. It's so weird. In my dream, his mouth opens wide and she just goes down his throat. So then the next step is for him to go after my cousin Luke and I, who are hiding in the basement. So he starts going down those steps, still playing the flute. And in the basement, I'm hiding under a table, and my cousin Luke is hiding by the workout equipment, which is like so obvious. He's barely even hiding. So the first thing this man sees when he gets to the basement is my cousin Luke. So he eats my cousin Luke. And the dream always ends with him trying to find me in the basement, but he never does, and then I wake up. Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? And I'd have this dream every night. I think it went on for months, like probably like 3 months or something. And I'd always tell my parents, like, I don't want to go to bed because I don't want to have this dream. And that's when I guess I wrote this diary entry, and I would check off every night that I'd have the dream. I don't know, it was just so bizarre. I actually don't remember writing this diary entry, but I remember having the dream, and I remember every detail of the dream. And I'm 22, and I had the dream when I was 9. Have you guys ever had a reoccurring dream where you remember every single detail even though it happened a long time ago? But yeah, when I saw this diary entry today, this feeling of dread came over me because I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna think about it again. Imagine if after I make this video I have the dream tonight. Like, guys, that will just drive me insane. But yeah, I thought that that would make kind of an interesting video because it was just on my mind, and I actually tweeted about it and asked you guys if I should make a story time, and all of you wanting me to make a story time on this, so there you go. I feel like all of my videos are creepy. Does that bother you guys? I'm sorry, I don't know, I guess my life is just creepy. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video even though it was super weird. As usual, my social media information is down below along with my vlog channel and my P.O. box information, so check that out. And until next time guys, bye!